Good morning. Today, 16th December 2024, we are going to discuss editorials from The Hindu, Business Standard, The Pioneer, and Live Minter. Wherever good article, we will find those articles, we will discuss them in detail, and we will analyze each and every article in detailed manner. First article here, it is about Finance Commission of India. Article 280 deals with Finance Commission. So Finance Commission is a constitutional body. It is constituted once in 5 years. Now 16th Finance Commission has been formulated. Several discussions are pending before Finance Commission. We have 29 states. Each and every states facing their own budgetary challenges. And when it comes to revenue generation, resource generation, it is very tough in the state. So in this regard, this article has been written. We'll discuss this article. Government of Tamil Nadu, they hosted 16th Finance Commission, and this Finance Commission was chaired by Arvind Pangaria. There were several distinguished experts from various fields. The commission is uniquely positioned to address several critical fiscal challenges facing India, even rectifying the difference in relationship between the state and union. What we need to from global changes, what is happening, what we need to learn. The decision taken by Finance Commission will not only shape the fiscal fate of the nation for next 5 years, but the decision of Finance Commission will also influence India's economic trajectory in the decade to come. Now, India wants to become developed nation by 2047. Whatever the decision that has been taken, it must be very, very important from finance point of view. 16th Finance Commission, their work mostly coincide with significant developments and those economic trends that are happening in global economic sphere. There are several concepts are there: friendshoring, reshoring. They have been reshaping again and again in international trade relations, even in investment pattern also. If you go for FDI, this pattern will come up. Friend sharing and reshoring. What do you mean by friend shoring, reshoring? When partner country come and they make significant investment in some country, this reshoring or friend shoring will harbor them. Suppose say it is our India. So in this India, a lot of people will come from outside. Let us suppose say Bangladesh. Now Bangladesh condition is bad, but one time they will come. They want to invest in our country. Suppose say in textile sector, Bangladesh is very better. They come and they can invest here, or India can make a lot of investment in Bangladesh, like Adani Group has done in investment in electricity sector. So such a kind of friendshoring and onshoring can happen. So you can hear all these terms, but when it comes to finance commission, it's very important. These trends, they put opportunity for India, even Tamil Nadu also. To seize this kind of opportunity, there is challenge before Finance Commission to bring a right balance between equitable redistribution, even incentivizing growth in high performing states such as Tamil Nadu. And we need to think about horizontal devolution also. If we discuss about Finance Commission was first formed in 1951. We have independence on 1947, August 15th. Then our constitution started functioning. First government was formed in 1950s. Then from 1950 onwards, several commissions came into being. 1951, we started our first finance commission. Each and every finance commission, they have adopted their own approach towards fiscal challenges of its time. Every finance commission, they sought to achieve equitable redistribution of resources by increasing state shares under vertical devolution. Even they channeled funds to less developed states through horizontal devolution also. There are several schemes, core schemes, centrally sponsored schemes, and even grant from state, central government to state also. Such a kind of approach has been followed in order to make development of the country on whole. But Finance Commission clearly failed in identifying certain gaps between declared objective and their outcomes. Now it lies an opportunity in order to bring that gap by bringing fair distribution of resources. For example, when the 15th Finance Commission they awarded vertical share of divisible pool to states, it's almost 41%. But they told central government will give in 100 rupees, they will give 41 rupees. But in actually, it has come around some 33.16 rupees only. This is given to all states together. When you see horizontally, there are 29 states are there. Few states may get huge share, few states may not get them. This kind of discrimination further puts one region in good area, another region in bad area. So Finance Commission need to look after this issue in good matter. Now 16th Finance Commission, they have opportunity to redress the issue. Even there is unheard level of putting cess and surcharges by central government. This was the fundamental reason for the decline in devolution. Suppose say 41 rupees. Now what happens when cess and surcharges are levied by central government? State cannot be part of that tax pool. Central government alone can collect those taxes, cess and surcharges. If state government charges cess and surcharges, then state government has those revenue. State cannot have control over them. So such a kind of devolution made less revenue to the states. Then we need to increase state share and incentivize the performers. If you see states, they bear substantial development expenditure. Hence, their share should be further increased substantially. The financial strain on the strain states, this is due to less funding and more on the centrally sponsored schemes on one side and inadequate devolution. This will make state governments. Hence, what we need to do is we need to adapt a fair and equitable share for states. That would be almost 50% of the devolution that goes to gross central taxes. This will enable states a greater fiscal autonomy and implementing locally relevant scheme. If you see horizontally, you can consider that the redistribution policy followed first 4.5 decades in country. This yielded very limited results in real growth. We have followed the same path, 41% from 30% to 40% revenue devaluation for almost 45 plus years. Whether we have achieved any success, yes, but not to the extent what we have expected. So what we feel is there should be some focus on small national pie with large share to less developed state, or we need to question whether a large national pie, that means huge funding can be given with equitable distribution with states that are having great resource control overall. It is a big and humongous talk before finance commission, and it is very difficult also, but finance commission can follow balanced approach so that they can ensure this equitable funding for reasonable shares for less developed states and adequate resources for progressive states so that they can make upward trajectory. If you go to southern states, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, even Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, these states are kind of well developed. They have all the infrastructure and all. So if you put special push on them, so they can contribute a lot to the Indian economy. So this thing would clearly necessitate progressive resource allocation methodology for those performing states and even allowing them to fulfill their potential of India's growth engine. What are all the challenges in progressive states? What they are facing? Amidst this progressive state, as we discuss in southern states such as Tamil Nadu, they also face unique challenges in demography and urbanization also. If you see Tamil Nadu context, they have almost their median age is higher than the national average. There is even state capacity to generate consumption-based tax revenue that is also declining. Even cost of supporting aging population also rising. So whatever the welfare scheme they are planning, it goes to those people, and then they have very limited revenue generation methodologies. It is very important. Such a kind of state they do not fall into this middle income trap. So where urban growth stagnates, they become old before they become the rich. Even next challenge is also a kind of urbanization. It is happening in fastest manner, but the resources required to address such a kind of urbanization is very poor. So this will merit our adequate redress. States such as Tamil Nadu, for example, if you see the fastest rate of urbanization in the country, they have almost 57.3% urban population by 2031 against expected national average of 37.90%. So this has been reported in states like that. So urbanization is happening in fast manner in southern state, especially in Tamil Nadu. We need to put infrastructure in such a manner. Otherwise, we will be under that middle income trap only. We should also keep in mind the mandate of commission goes beyond this physical arithmetic. They have to understand the benefits and contribution of each and every state that are making progress in the country. Whether we need to discuss about manufacturing or strengthening manufacturing sector, addressing urbanization challenges, even ensuring this climate resilience. Finance Commission decision will impact million lives, and it also determine India's destiny in the future. So in order to take place all these things, we need to become world largest economy. So Finance Commission role is very, very important. So this is the article about. We will discuss next article. Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently had visited G20 summit. Along with he had made diplomacy visits to three countries. So in this article and in this light, this article has been discussed in detail. We'll see what kind of improvement it will bring to India on global arena, and we will understand this article in detail also. First thing first, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he visited three countries, Nigeria, Brazil, and Guyana between November 16 and 21. This was exceptionally well designed to achieve multiple objectives. As India is going into global diplomacy summit, they have covered different geographic regions. G20, he went, he covered three countries. So you can understand like impact of the country and then what are all the benefits it is going to achieve. First, we covered entire Africa, that means Guyana, Latin America, Caribbean countries. So there is an interaction on bilateral, regional, and global issues also. Main purpose was to represent India at the 19th summit of G20 in Brazil. Even his spending with two other countries, this enhanced the impact of transcontinental journey. Now we need to understand what are all its outcomes, it what it will ensure India's future foreign policy priorities. Narendra Modi and Indian government first they halted at Nigeria in Abuja airport. It was a full-scale state visit in if you see Nigeria, this is Africa's most populous nation. They are the fourth largest economy. You might have seen about AU. What is AU? African Union. In African Union, uh, Nigeria, this is the flag. So they are the fourth largest economy. The West African nations, international, they have been increasing. They have India has given permanent status to Nigeria in G20 summit last year, and BRICS also invited to join Nigeria as a partner country. Even Nigeria recently chaired Economic Community of Western African States, ECOWAS. This is also very relevant for us. We are both large democracies, we are multi-religious, multi-ethnic, multi-linguistic, and we are devoted to this unity in diversity. So if you see India and Nigeria both are natural partners. If you see about Nigeria's leadership, they give many signals about its convey on India's expanding economic and political influence and India's policy on strong Africa. Even they have gifted keys of city to Abuja to Mr. Modi. This kind of welcome with 21 gun salute and all these things, this will give clear way that India's influence is growing, and then India's influence in the Africa is growing. Africa in such, we are helping a lot in Africa, African Union, but we need to increase a lot. This kind of award citation will be referred to leadership and contribution of India, Nigeria stay, and India is even positioned to global powerhouse under this kind of transformative governance. Nigeria, India's development beneficiary and humanitarian resource development program, they have been very keen to advance strategic partnership with India. Even India also seemed to ready and willing. The dialogue at this Abuja in Nigeria, this confirmed both nation leaders' assessment about how should be bilateral cooperation in the trade, investment, education, energy, health, culture, and people-to-people related ties also. There are several new areas emerging: agriculture, urban transportation, renewable energy, digital transformation. They were also identified. Even there were commitment to combat against terrorism, extremism, even radicalization. Despite all this closeness at political level only, three memoranda of understanding only signed because of the bureaucratic delay on the Nigeria side. But overall, the visit was a clear plus to India and Nigeria friendship. What about Brazil? Second leg, 19th summit of this G20, this comprised of 19 powerful economies, even two regional organizations. This was hosted at Rio de Janeiro in November 18th and 19th. It took forward people-centric decision that is adopted by New Delhi. Last year, we have arranged this G20 summit meeting in New Delhi, and this year it was carried out by Brazil. The Rio Declaration signed. Basically, this highlighted on 3 points: social inclusion, sustainable development, and reform of the global governance institutions. On the first issue, Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty, this was launched. This will serve a platform for mobilizing finance and knowledge sharing on wide scale, basically. Second, regarding sustainable development, G20 grouping reiterated its previous positions on sustainable development. It, but they failed to make headway on the climate finance. Now, climate change is happening at rapid pace, but when it comes to climate finance, there is no concrete clear is not coming. Why they have failed? Because each country, developed country, has to contribute $100 billion every year. How can they contribute? They should contribute, but they are not contributing. That is why these kind of issues are happening. Even they have adopted roadmap for better, bigger, and more effective multilateral development banks, so that these banks can become institutes in crisis. Even Narendra Modi met several leaders, notably from United States, Europe, and global South countries. Jaishankar also met Chinese counterpart in order to stage next visit between India, China, and understand the friendliness between the two countries. On the third step, Narendra Modi visited Guyana. If you see about Guyana, this is a nation with less than 10 lakh people in its Caribbean region. It is very important in focus. 40% of the population is of Indian origin, and there is a robust bilateral cooperation program exist. Guyana has energy resources and important player in regional affairs. Decisions were announced to expand cooperation in diverse sectors: energy, defense, urban development, digital collaboration, education, food security. Even 10 MOUs were signed. India and Caribbean community, they held second summit at Georgetown, Guyana. This made and enabled Narendra Modi to interact with dozen leaders on this successful regional body. Even he proposed 7 pillars to deepen cooperation, like covering capacity building, agriculture, food security, renewable energy, climate change, innovation, technology, and all. So, commonality in all these pillars was that they all are based on your priorities and needs. So in overall, Prime Minister visit lasted for almost 6 days. It contributed India's global standing and Mr. Modi image as a popularity abroad. Guyana President Irfan Ali, he he praised Narendra Modi as a champion among the leaders, and even he told about leading from the front incredibly. So, though these kind of expeditions implementation announced, so New Delhi now need to take a bold essay in diplomacy. They have taken already, and we need to capitalize those things. This is the article about. Next article we will discuss about Israel and Gaza, what is happening and what we need to do, right? So what is the happening? Like war has been almost 1 year began. Israel and Gaza, we call Gaza Strip, they are at war. Why war is happening? Why they are not controlling? We will discuss this article in detail. Almost 400 days since October 7, 2023, there were attacks on Israel that led to Israel bombarding this Gaza, West Bank, Lebanon for almost 43,000 people have been killed, mostly civilians. This is this map clearly, right? This map, this is the Israel. This is Sinai Peninsula, and this was occupied by Israel, but later gave back to Egypt, Sinai Peninsula. This connects Israel and African country. Here you can see Gaza. Gaza is a very small part. We call Gaza Strip also. This is the West Bank. We call Palestine. Gaza, West Bank, all this comes under Palestine. And another area on the top, Lebanon. This Lebanon also in fight with Israel. On the top, you can find one more area here, Golan Heights. So these are all disputed territories. Gaza, West Bank, and then Golan Heights. You need to understand this is the area of Israel. There were calls by United Nations in order to address the humanitarian crisis. International Court of Justice, they gave risk of genocide being perpetrated against the Palestinian people. Even warrants were issued by International Criminal Court against Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, former Israel Defense Minister, even Hamas military leader Mohammed Deif. They alleged these kind of war crimes. There is no end to this violence, it seems, in the near future. What we need to understand in real terms is the interview has been conducted, and then we need to understand viewpoints have been presented by two persons basically. So Navatesh Sarna, Krita Parsi. So we'll discuss like what they have told in the interview and what is their views, and you can use them in separate pointings. Now, editor asks like, when it comes to global institution, why the world is so polarized? In particular, what explains policy of the United States of America on enforcement rules of Israel? So this is a map of Israel. US is close ally of the Israel, right? When it comes to international relations, it is very important. USA is very close to Israel, and then whatever Israel action is taking, US is just supporting it. But here, Gaza, they have terror organization called Hamas. Lebanon, they have another terror organization here. They control the proxy. Recently, there is an issue in Syria. Syria, the nearby country, Assad regime. Assad, his regime has fallen. So these kind of issues are persisting. So you need to remember Hamas, right? Several proxy groups are operating in this region. So very volatile region. So he says, basically this war is a genocide. It can happening anywhere. You can see on live on phones. The report Lancet, they estimated that almost toll of 1,86,000, just 43,000 is only number. Then he says he's not surprised by world outrage in comparison to what he felt over. Recently, there was a war between Russia and Ukraine. It is still happening. Russia invaded Ukraine. 700 children were killed in Ukraine through Russian bombardment. Almost 2.5 years now. More than 20,000 children have been killed in Gaza for about a year already. So the intensity this exceeds anything we have seen in the modern war. What is even surprising is America's reaction. Biden administration, they violated own regulations by allowing Israel government to exactly do what they want. This never happened before. USA, United States of America, they are shifting away from supporting the same international institutions, regulations, and laws. Once upon a time, they played a crucial role in establishing. So this kind of shift may happen in international law to do whatever they ban. Then this kind of rule-based international order, this will be defied basically. Exactly, this thing happened in Second World War. So they just let Adolf Hitler to do whatever they wanted, and Hitler perpetrated all the crimes against humanity. And at the end, World War happened, and then a lot of loss of lives, property, untold miseries had happened in the World War II. The similar thing can be escalated. So when it comes to institutions, they should prevent these kind of global polarization. We should be very careful. The rule-based order, this is not centered on any law, it is centered on rules. It is also unclear who makes those kind of rules. In reality, this is kind of coalition and willing partnership of the countries, mostly allies. They are not universally accepted or applicable. This is what we seeming to want, this international court of international criminal courts also. Then Navtesh Sarna says US has this umbilical relationship with Israel. They will help them to do whatever they want. So when it comes to these things, the Hamas shouldn't have carried out the October 7th attack against Israel. Otherwise, things would have gone smooth. Whatever the issues are there between both the countries, Israel and Palestine, they should sit on the table and they should come at peace point. That is the only thing. Whoever comes from outside, many parties will come. They will influence both Israel and Palestine. But issues will be resolved only when both of them sits together and resolve the differences. That is the only thing. Israel said in International Court of Justice that because this doesn't make any sense, and they don't even follow also. Does these warrants will help them? Then TP says Israel is conducting war crime country against any country, even Israel, Palestine also. Then Navtesh Sharma says more than this kind of ICC warrant, it is necessary to understand what has been done on international humanitarian law on the ground. We need to understand this thing in clear. If you see ICC, they have 124 countries only. India participated in negotiation in preparatory stages that led up to International Criminal Court in 2002. India participated in the negotiation of Rome Statute also, but they did not sign and ratify. India also negotiated good faith when it finds like it can't agree to some of the terms, it doesn't sign. It is better than signing and refuting the terms. Like you need to understand the terms clearly. When it comes to ICC, if you put all the rules in together and then countries won't accept, then you cannot tell them that they are not accepting. So it supports basically Israel, right? United Nations Security Council, there has been almost a logjam over votes involving Israel and Russia. Even there were cases, United Nations Security Council, they passed resolutions, Afghanistan and Myanmar. Even there are certain regions, they are refuting directions with immunity. Whether we are reaching the international order, whether these institutions are able to function, whether we are able to maintain international order. Then NS says it is clear United Nations Security Resolution they don't mean anything anymore. In case of the Israel, they have full support of the United States of America. That means veto is used. So naturally, Russia is going to use veto its own purposes to protect itself, and it has very past few years. So these kind of things. There is a fact also that United Nations were formed in 1945 post Versailles Treaty, right? Even if the United Nations Security Council believes it can still deliver the truth, it cannot. Every country they decided to live in transactional, immediate, short-term policy paradigms. There is no value-based international relations today. Even TP says he agree with whatever bad situation happening across the world. Then we need to work it out. There are only 5% chances are that the systems are not worked. But we need to map those situations. We need to understand them in clearly. Then another question, do you find Israel, they have brought accountability internationally or they brought ceasefire in Gaza anytime soon? He says, there is a likelihood chance of ceasefire because incoming United States President Donald Trump, he will be taking charge in January 2025. He has shown little disregard to global institutions. There is a transactional value backing Israel. He doesn't seem US get dragged in another war like that happened in Afghanistan. So he want to end the issues and then he want to focus on development. And then NS says Trump's main motivation would be to show himself as ultimate winner who can say he delivered his campaign promise to stop the wars. Even ceasefire will not even bring peace. So these things need to be understood. Whatever Trump did in Trump 1.0, so he can recorrect them in Trump 2.0. He can understand the things. There are several countries that have signed accords basically UAE, Bahrain, Sudan, and Morocco, and those that US was trying to bring on board Saudi Arabia. So this kind of reunion may help in the future. Let's see what happens. International relations, like it will be changing every day. What happens? But the allies are very, very important. How you form the proxies, how you form your groups. These things are very important. Now there are several actors are there. Iran is there, right? Then all Middle Eastern countries are there. In the role of countries such as India, Russia, France, right? UK, Britain, their views also very, very important. Whom they are supporting, what is happening. Ultimately, whoever comes, whatever they do, ultimately humanity should prevail. Humanity, they have to understand the human concerns, human values, and then both countries, Israel plus Palestine, they should sit together and then they come up to solutions. Otherwise, innocent lives will be lost in this long dragged war. We discussed 3 articles today. Thank you. Thank you very much for discussion.